Hey, well, first of all, I'd like to say, and I ASB are gonna find me, because I want to be a part of this fucking dumb wannabe tennis tour.
You know, I think they got his testicles so far up their mouths that this is bullshit, you know?
I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm just thinking about having won the world title and hopefully trying to win another one someday. You just drop in and just smack the whoop, drop down, say bah! Well, I'll tell you, Stu, I did travel some humongous ways.
Oh, custom table, please?
Oh, stuff looks good on it.
Not bad.
Ain't That Swell with Jed and Vaughn.
Oh, those guys are back!
Get a haircut.
Yeah, shreddheads, waxheads, kooks and barnies. Welcome to Ain't That Swell, the radio show dedicated to cutting fucking sick. Yeah. I'm your host, the two-time Gold Cone Piece award-winning surf journalist, Scum Valley's finest himself, the punch-drunk pikey, the sultan of psilocybin, the maestro of micro dosing, Smiv. And I'm joined here as always by my loyal co-host and friend, frontman of the Goons of Doom, former editor of Surfing World Magazine, Tracks Magazine, and Waves Magazine, Vaughn Rinsed Corn Deadly.
Welcome to 2026, Smivy. And, I was just touched then, man. Like, we've been doing this show for well over a decade. And every time you say my co-host and friend, it gives me a little heart flutter, bro. Because, when we started this thing, we were acquaintances. We were friends for sure, but we've become such good mates over the course of this journey. And I want to just acknowledge that at the start of this year, mate, because every time we sit down to just garble and gaggle and fucking just chew each other's heads off about surfing, it's something I do with a lot of gratitude, brother. So thank you.
Oh,
Thanks.
Appreciate that, mate. And that is bizarrely synchronized with my intention for this year, which is just to set every day the intention of love and peace. And this is 2026, the year of Scum Valley's finest. It's our it's the postcode of Bondi Beach, and it's about time it started coming up because the last year was a fucking absolute disgrace. But mate, it's so good to connect with you, and we've been through some shit, man. We've seen some fucking wild times in this journey. I was actually just looking at the entire first season of Ain't That Swell live. I've got all the clips given to us by the great wet lettuce Danny Johnson, who I saw the other night, who was in incredible form at the Stab in the Dark premiere for the Kelly Slater series. Fuck, he's a funny bastard, Jono. Had the crowd in stitches with his deadpan rip zingers. And, man, it's been amazing just the kind of cultural underground that we exist in. Yourself, myself, Jono, Sam Mack, Derek, and the others, Luke Kennedy and Shauno. And, it's a rad little kind of scene, for lack of a better word, that we're a part of. But it's such a privilege to sit here with you.
It is.
And be able to get all of this important culture and history out into the ear holes of the Swellians out there on the job sites, keeping them sane while they can't get in the brine. It is a privilege, and I don't take it lightly.
Nah. And, mate, as well as the crew that you just mentioned who are kind of our era, I saw you at the Billabong single fin. Watch the broadcast. Epic job as always, mate. Well played.
Well played.
Great to say. And but also the next gen of crew sharing the froth and the stoke. Zachy Whiteman and the Largo boys are doing a great job, and Stace is over there doing the World Juniors.
And Binzi. Got to shout Binzi out.
Mate,
What
the
a
great
lord.
Binzi. The Chris
Love
Binz. We
Binzi.
never
Papa
shout him
Binz.
out enough. And but yeah, these are all basically the mouthpieces that connect crew who don't have the good fortune that we have to be in these places and witness some of the surfing we do. And it's just fucking so good to be able to multi-generationalize what we're seeing and what we're experiencing. And it's a good place to start 2026 arm in arm with the brethren and just frothing out deluxe, mate. And how was the single fin this year? That's the first year I've missed it in a long time. I was rattled.
Yeah, it was magic. It's crazy how little swell that joint needs when it's the right direction and period. It was maybe 2 to 3 to 4 foot, but just straight out of the east northeast or whatever direction that is that lights that joint up, and just the shape. It was just those mini dredges of the sort that Rasta was piloting in that iconic campaign section. Like obviously they're 10 times the size, but it had that same shape. Burley just has this iconic shape. It's only Burley that can produce that thick, doubled up, almost standstill drop, and then just rifles off. It was sick just seeing it in that kind of form. And, mate, somehow, despite the northerly, it held its shape and was fully contestable in that head-high range all day. Really fun event to watch. Some of the highlights, as much as the single-fin purist in me doesn't want to acknowledge this, it is undeniable how good guys like these Groms like Rico Haybiddle are doing like nose pick finners, like air reverse nose pick fucking high fidelity turns on a single fin, like swiveling on the nose, like crazy buttery spins. Even saw Occy do a mental little credit card backside air, which the air wasn't that big, but just the fluency between bottom turn to air, it was less of an air and more of a turn that just went out of the bowl. But that thing blew my mind. Like Occy's technique, the way he's able to generate speed in super awkward situations, like a cupped out 3-footer that he's too deep on and he's gotten into late, and somehow he just rolls his ankles over and does some trippy little imperceptible wiggle, and then he's out of the pocket and or out from behind the section and into the pocket, and that was a treat, man. Just seeing that guy's biomechanics, even now, is mind-blowing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the single fin purist thing, like after I was watching that stab how surfers get paid with Tudor, you know, like sort of getting the Takiyamas. And but the thing to remember is if those surfers had the imagination and the wherewithal to do that sort of surf, and they would have been. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Simon Anderson and Buttons and these crew weren't looking for the full performance edge on the thrust, on the single fin the entire time they were on them. And it was only the limitations of those boards, or the seeming limitations, that made them sort of like start to invent other ways to sort of get their surf into the future quicker. But now that you've got the techniques used from those other boards, you can bring them back to the single fin and fucking, why not throw a few nose pick, tail blows, Smithy?
Oh, 100%.
Why not, mate? And what about Kaius? How did he go, the old freaking head sender? Did he just serve it up to Lux up there or what?
Yeah, he was ripping. Yeah, I mean, just that very consummate, well-honed Challenger Series attack, like on the good ones. No mistakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he was amazing. I'm just trying to think of who my real standouts were. I mean, I really love it was all about Ryan Gray, really, Turtle. 62 years
mate.
young.
Yui crew stitch up the lights.
Oh,
I couldn't
God.
believe it when I saw 62 years old. I was like, someone's added a full decade to this poor cut.
Yeah, don't know who dropped that. I think it was Buddha. But yeah, there was some
so
kind of local underground lords ripping. Ibis was ripping. But yeah, just back to the single fin pioneers. Like I was chatting with Rabs on the mic a bunch about that period and how it really was the golden age of surfing. Yeah. Like there's no money in the industry, and these guys are not only they're not only shaping their own boards, like everything is in a period of refinement. So they're shaping their own boards, they're figuring out new lines, and then there is guys like Buttons doing shit that still hasn't been done. Like you watch that roundhouse cutty to switch stance, rebound to 3-0 out. That's like the craziest shit that's ever happened still to this day.
Yeah.
Never been done again.
Nah. Totally. Totally.
Will it ever be done again? Can anyone ever do that turn again? It's so outrageous when you think about it. To switch stance halfway through a turn and hit a rebound switch and then do a spinner out. It's fucking
it's madness, man.
Mind-bending.
Well, speaking of, I won't say never been done, but I have been back on the twins, bro. I actually have had just a big prolonged period of just riding high performance thrusters because I was just loving them. But summer, as you know, has been diabolically poor. There was sort of like that one little swell. Actually, I think maybe there's been a few swells sort of like in that southern Queensland sort of zone, North New South Wales, but I've been on the south coast and I have been loving the summer grov, Smithy. Got back on a Mark Richards times Matt Biolis sort of collab twinny, the California Twin. It's like a Mayhem MR crossover, and I think it's sort of like a modernized version of his 1980 retro twin that goes mad. Like he moves a lot of those. So Mayhem got hold of it. Him and MR sort of like, well, let's just modernize this. Let's like make a version that suits today's surfing. And mate, I've been loving it because surf that I'd normally turn my back on as I get old and super cranky and fussy about what I want to like spend my time in has just become like the go-to again. And there's something so satisfying about linking up dead water into these one little pockets of opportunity, giving it a good little slap or a tail release, and then dead water, and then another little seggy, and just keeping it all like moving. It's been so fun, man. I can't talk up that board enough. And I actually got like a board that was slightly too big. Like I think I got a 511, real beefy, so that Ali, my wife, could ride it as well. Which has turned out to be kind of a happy accident, but I'd love to get on a 5.9 or something and just so that little bit of extra movement and squirt or whatever. Been so fun to just surf shit, Smithy. I couldn't believe it. It's been the surprise of 2026 for me. Like loving surfing pure dribble.
Oh, mate, I hear. I'm just about to join you in the twin fin lineage. Just got
come on over, mate.
Simon Jones
come
Designs,
on over.
Fresh Tracks 20. And I was watching a clip of Letty Mortensen, who's back in the brine, the Avcat, who suffered a serious leg injury. Maybe it was a broken leg even. But he's back in the brine and he's riding 20s at Avalonian Rip Bowls and absolutely shrouping. And it just made me realise, and I was actually chatting to Creed about this in the pod we did at the end of last year, about how underrated Rip Bowls are. Like, they're Rip Bowls are the new Point Break, in my opinion, because you can get the same dopamine squirts as long as you have the right equipment, like you said, something to get you through the dead spots.
Yep.
Like a 20 with a bit of volume. And there's no hassle. Like, you're not dealing with fucking hordes of cunts. Like, so you can get you. It's just a sea of dopamine and endorphins that's available. It's there to be had all the time. Rip Bowls, you need fucking 2 foot of swell to activate one at any beach break on this giant continent of ours. So it's there to be had. Get out there, Swellians. Get the Rip Bowl whacking going.
Yeah. And, mate, you and I were talking about just before we came on air, like, geez, there's a palpable sense of optimism and relief and just general happiness that 2025 is over and the grind, like the holiday period. I know not for everyone it's been like this, but it just feels like there's a communal sense of happiness in the air, man. And I reckon that's on the back of just not having any expectations, detaching from the grind, letting the sort of just the stress and all that fucking craziness of the world just sort of like be in its place in the past just for a moment and just tap into the real simple pleasures. Because 2026 is as you say, it's the year for Smithy and it's the year for Deadly and it's the year for Swellians the world over. And I just hope that it continues on the way it's continuing, mate, or the way it's going because it just feels good. I feel good, Smithy. I feel detached from what's unimportant and connected to what's really important. And far out, it doesn't take a whole lot to do it. A few little grovs, bit of food, like good food for, like healthy food, and sharing good times with the ones you love. Far out. How hard is it to tap into that sometimes? What's wrong with us? Yeah,
well said. And it can be as simple as having the right attitude. And I think, setting intentions is super profound. And it does lead to the manifestation of really whatever you want. Whatever you want in life, say it internally to yourself and say it every day and watch it come true. It's fucking mind-blowing. The problem is, a lot of people wish for things that have been programmed into them by the capitalist system. So they end up with, what they wanted, which was the big house and the fancy car and the wife of the bolt-ons or whatnot. But all those things amount to a whole lot of fucking misery, and you've just wished a bunch of misery upon yourself. So don't do that. That's a trap, but I see it all the time. I've probably been guilty of it myself. And instead, just understand that I think really the most you can ever hope to get out of life is peace and love and contentment. And those things are ultra profound, but you won't see them advertised to you on a bus shelter anywhere or in an ad break on the Woz or the footy. They're just very subtle but profound states of being that you can inhabit. And a key to inhabiting them is, like we said, stepping out of the grind culture. Get out of the grind culture, Swellians. I know it's hard. You got mortgages and bills and cost of living hikes and all the rest of it. It's fuck. They make it so hard. Grind culture is so normalized in Australia. And, I'm from a family where, mate, Forbes, working class maniacs, where the grind culture was so normalized and drummed into me that when I wasn't grinding, I felt guilty for not grinding.
Well, that's the challenge. Like, there's nothing wrong with working hard. Working hard's good. It's actually just getting your head out of the stress of the grind. Like, the guilt thing you're talking about is sort of where the damage gets done. It's almost like throwing the match on the big pile of stress kindling, and that's where the sickness sort of starts to come from, is when that thing catches fire. But, work hard by all means, but then also just sort of find the space for yourself to have your freedom and have your happiness, because it's not that hard to tap into once you disconnect from what you think you should be doing as opposed to what you probably should actually be doing. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, the working hard's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's work ethic has been my superpower, and that comes from that grind culture that I grew up in. But you can't work hard if it's causing you stress. Any form of stress, acknowledge that as something that you gotta get rid of. Like, stress is the killer. It is so bad for your mental and physical health. The system has normalized it to the point where, we just think it's okay to fucking work ourselves to a nub and then start freaking out at everyone around us and, medicating with drugs and alcohol. All those things are supremely toxic. Been guilty of every single one of them right up until the end of last year, really. So, we're all a work in progress. But lock in, Swellians. Lock it in. Let's fucking walk as a unified crew into the future like the mad fucking futurists we are.
Finger Bands, brought to you by Up, and as always, Up, the financial revolution. It's got young Aussies back, Smivy. And look, we talk about it a lot, but I don't know about you. I'd like having a bank that actually looks after me, that has tools that make banking and financing not this sort of fucking disaster of, like a hornet's nest of stress and just fees and all this other shit that you don't want to deal with. It's just a good institution that's been with the Swellians for over a year now, and we back them. They back us. 5 minutes to sign up. UTFS20. The code is still alive. Sign up now. Get $20 straight up in your bank account as the startup. Number 5.
Vaughan, some very good bad news or bad good news, but it looks as though, according to the science, that wave heights have in fact increased, and not by a small amount. This is according to The Guardian. Between 1985 and 2018, wave heights in the Southern Ocean increased by 30 centimeters, or about a centimeter a year. So that's one whole foot, which might be why Surfline's always given us those 5 to 7 feet forecasts these days instead of the 4 to 6. Something like that. And so because waves from the Southern Ocean propagate out into the Pacific, South Atlantic, and Indian Oceans, this has contributed to increases in wave size in those oceans as well. Wave energy is also increasing, ticking up by about 8% since the 1980s, with the rate of change accelerating markedly since the turn of the century, reflecting not just changes in wave height, but also increasingly intense storms and more frequent extreme wave events. And now this gels anecdotally with me, Rinse Corn, because, remember the July swell of 2001?
Of course.
That was a massive deal when I was a grommet. I don't remember anything like it before, and then I didn't really remember anything quite like it after it for a long time. But now I feel like that variety of intense onion, ECL, East Coast low, like this kind of super groomed groundswell event, I feel like they're like super common now. You get multiple like July swells a year. And like, look, my memory's a bit warped, obviously, but it does seem like we get way more swells of high-end quality all up and down the East Coast. And I asked AI what the go was.
Yeah.
And it said wave heights are increasing globally, particularly in the Southern Ocean, driven by climate change-induced stronger winds and more intense storms, leading to larger swells that impact coastlines worldwide, causing greater erosion and flooding risks, with the most significant changes seen in polar regions and the Southern Hemisphere. Studies show average wave heights rising about, as we said, 1 centimetre per year in the Southern Ocean, while extreme wave events are also becoming more frequent and powerful, especially in the Arctic, where increases exceed 10 centimetres a year, which gels with that big swell we just saw hit Mulmore. That was like a fucking generational swell. So, yeah, what do you make of that?
Mate, I think you're dead right. Like just anecdotally, the swells that really piqued my interest when I was a grom weren't the things that, Tommy Myers and Nozza and, crew have been surfing in the West for a while, but like seemed to me more like sort of just beautiful 4 to 6 foot Kira swells. There was a couple of cyclones when I was a grom, Cyclone Betsy, Cyclone Roger. They were kind of memorable for being big, juicy Kira days and stuff like that. But it just seems that every second week there is some gargantuan event that, not just the pro surfers, but just the core lords just are lining up to get a piece of. There's no way it was this consistent when we were groms. And the science is backing that up. So that's really interesting to me. The other thing is the consistency, man. Like this has been for sure the worst summer in a few years. Like I can't remember, like leading up into New Year's Eve, it just felt like we had a real crook spring and then a really kind of tough summer. But in saying that, you could still surf. There was still stuff going on everywhere. And I don't know, man, it just seems like your calls to burn more coal and get this earth cooking up a storm is working a treat, mate.
Oh, yeah.
You and Gina and Forry and all the fucking miners.
Oh, don't forget
Good
ScoMo.
job. And ScoMo, of course. And where he was right to hold that block of coal up in Parliament and say, what are you scared of this thing? Well, mate, let's see you paddle out at Queenie Bommy with Tommy Myers, sit on the inside, call him off one of those slabs. ScoMo, you fucking dog. He won't do it. Then we'll see how scared of coal he is. But look, all seriousness, mate. I just feel like it is way more consistent and we're getting way more of it. And hard to complain in the Southern Hemisphere, especially East Coast Australia.
Yeah, the Tommy Myers point is a really good one because, like we've said in the past, we've just never seen a wave like that hit Queensy Bommy. Like, those things were out of control.
Yeah.
And it gels that, like, if there is a 1 foot size increase plus like an 8% energy increase, that's like more period and more size. And that's exactly what those swells look like. And then in terms of the ScoMo and his block of coal in Parliament when he was the Prime Minister of Australia, it's hard to think of anyone who's done more for Australian surfing than Scott Morrison by just relentlessly pursuing coal and climate change in the fashion that he did. And then was ScoMo, I believe he was the one who oversaw the stip end to the the surf team during COVID, the ScoMo surf team, which saw the Australian surfing population absolutely bloom and rejoice in one of the great government initiatives where it concerns surfers. Geez, it hasn't been money handed out like that since, geez, you'd have to go way back to the mid to late 90s and some of the dole programs that were fucking rent stupid up here on the North Coast and in southeast Queensland. So, well played, ScoMo. I didn't see it at the time, but you found yourself on the right side of history in the long run where it concerns the Australian surf community.
Oh, it's so weird, man. I was just thinking just the other day, what a pest. What an absolute fucking shocker of a leader. It's almost like he's been erased. You never hear his name anymore.
No, he's one of the great disgraces.
Yeah.
In terms of just a sniffling, bloated, inner city swine, like just the last cunt you'd ever want anything to do with.
Nah.
You know, you'd shake that guy's hands and you'd be rubbing it on the side of your pants for the next week, just going, fuck, what the hell is this slime? How do you get rid of it?
Nah, one of the worst. One of the worst. But, you know, burn that planet up.
Keep
That
keep
swell
it cooking.
increase coming. More consistency. Let's do it.
You heard it, Trav Lynch. Get on the coal shovel, mate. Richo, keep chipping away, son. Let's go. Woo-woo, smoko.
Number 4.
Hey, Isla Huppatz just dropped the craziest turn ever
how good.
by a female encore, or at least it's right up there with the pickle sunset snap. A layback finner lip grind at full speed on an overhead wave with total conviction and a buttery transition out. As good a turn as you'll see. The front on clip is better than the drone angle the Woz is running.
Yeah.
But crazy stuff. I think that was at the World Juniors over there in, where is that event going, in Philippines or something?
Yeah, Philos. Not Cloud9, but at one of the beaches up north, I believe. Is it called La Union or something like? I don't know. But Stasis over there. Where good news, Smivy. Good news. We're up to the quarters. We've got dogs in the fight, skin in the game, bruv. Isla Huppatz is still going in the quarters. Sierra Kerr, she's in the quarters as well. So on the women's side, well represented there. In the men's, we've got Winter Vincent, who just defeated Huey Vaughan in his last heat. Bit of friendly fire there. Tragedy that we couldn't get all the Aussies into the quarters and semis because, man, we had a team. Who else is in there still? Lennox Smith, Dane Henry.
Wow.
So there's your 3 Aussies in the quarterfinals. That'll probably go down today or tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled to the WOZ website for that. But it's all about this turn. And pretty classic, man. Like, here we are looking at women's tour. It's probably the best year of all time that we're gearing up to witness, with the fem goats coming back, Riss and Steph, the young upstart world titleists in Molly and Katie. Like they won't want to let the old girls flex on them. And then you've got the those middle range surfers as well. Marksy Brah still on tour. Tyler Wright still there. So, yeah, it's awesome when you see just the influence of those women at the world junior titles in a turn like that. You can see a bit of every single one of those surfers, hey, in that turn of Isla's. It's like everything all the time, as hard as you can. Sick turn up the Huppatz. I believe Victorian by way of Burleigh. So those guys. I remember all the Torquay crew sort of big raps on the Huppatz girls, and then up to Burleigh they went, and it seemed to have worked out really well because I was surfing so good.
Yeah, it's straight out of the Dane Reynolds handbook, isn't it? And
it is.
Yeah, like really quite a bit better than anything I've seen come out of women's surfing. I feel like she's leveled up all those names that you dropped there. I mean, consistency is key, and that's something that Dane struggled with, putting that brand of surfing down. But chatting to my mate Clancy, he's over there coaching the team as part of the HPC staff, and he said it had the feel of when Dane did that turn at Haleiwa. Absolutely blew everyone's minds on the beach. But what a moment. Far out. I actually just, the pure power and technique and the feel and the energy and conviction she went at the section with, like all of that just combined to make that turn. Like that's something you can just watch on repeat. One of the great moments in women's surfing.
So good, man. And just a slight tangent, Smithy. I've been working on a new Rip Curl film in the break while we've had the best ofs going on and got to spend a fair bit of time with Molly. Mate, what a legend. I'm telling you, you think, it's hard to sort of compliment her enough on just how much of a straight up fucking good person she is, man. Like she has not lost one bit of her North Shelley mongrel or one bit of her identity. It's like winning the world title's just a box ticked and she'll just keep being her and keep doing it on her terms. And yeah, man, I tell you, you just feel proud to be Australian hanging out with someone like that. She's just fully herself, confident, cocky, and ripping. And yeah, a joy to hang out with her. But that's for the next Rip Curl project. Stay tuned for that one. We're going to launch it at Bell's, I believe.
And what is it about these Australian women where they're compelled to just go as hard as possible at sections and just produce absolutely like generational turns? The pickle, obviously, and now Isla Huppatz. Like those things, I thought there was a bar and they just fucking grabbed that bar and snapped it over their leg and threw it on the ground and went, there's no fucking bar anymore. The bar's me, bitch.
Well, you can chuck Sierra Kerr and Miller Brown in that too. Like just the way that they're charging big old pits. No regard for safety. Like you saw Miller in that Mexican section, that sand bottom gurgle fest, and she is literally flipping the thing off before she gets just clamped on those end seggies. And then Sierra with these like clutch to the flats full rotors. Fuck, mate. There's something in the water, Smithy. These women are just not taking a single step backwards in their quest to like keep smashing people to pieces.
Yeah, it does feel like Australia has the mortgage on that next generation. When you scan the world of women surfing, it feels like all the energy and all the exciting surfing is coming out of this part of the world, which is rad. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I reckon really close behind is probably Tahiti. Like there's a little cluster of women from there. Tia Zabrowski is the obvious one, but Vahine and there's a couple of juniors coming through as well. Kiara Gould, like they're not far behind, man. Like they're going to be, it's going to be Australia and Tahiti for this next push, I believe. When it comes to like throwing it under the ledge, off the lip, or just dismembering seggies, bruh. Number 3.
The Atlantic has been throwing out circular saw-shaped onions, and the call lords have been swinging their rhino chasers and going, Vaughan.
Yeah.
Close Millennium paddle wave at Mullaghmore. I'm sure you've seen it. Whoa, I mean, what can you say about this thing on the day of days at that wave, surrounded by jet skis? He has managed to get himself into, it's got to be the best wave paddle out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this swell, like everyone in the lead up to it, and it, particularly in retrospect, was like, this is the day. What was the quote? I saw one quote going, when I saw this swell, I was wishing it would go onshore. Like, even by their standards, and they're all maniacs, they were kind of going, whoa, this is like stuff we haven't seen before, man.
Absolutely. Here's what he had to say about it. The amount of swells I've chased like this in the past decade to come away empty-handed. There was much more at play than experience and skill. Coming from absolute darkness, these two waves were the sign I needed that I was exactly where I needed to be. As a surfer, a husband, a father. Omens from the universe. There was much more at play than just riding waves. Yeah, because, I mean, we got to remember, he's nearly died at least once at Chopes. I think it was like back-to-back surfs out there, wasn't it? Nearly like awful injury, head injury, knocked unconscious, I think resuscitated on his comeback surf at Chopes. And that's just not a wave that suits him. Like his skill set it's just not set up for late front side under the ledge drops.
Yeah.
That's not his strength. His strength is sitting out in frigid water with a howling offshore in 20 to 30 foot Mullaghmore on a 9.6 and just picking the absolute eyes out of a generational swell. The comeback is remarkable. It might be the best one. Like it's one of the better ones of all time. To like after those injuries at Chopes, you're thinking, you got to wrap it, dude. You got kids.
Yeah.
He's kind of made a bit of a name for himself, getting absolutely flogged to within an inch of his life at the big right there in Ireland as well. And, you know, you were just starting to worry for him at this point. And to bounce back in this fashion and get probably the best wave of his life at his age, given all that's happened in the background, it is properly remarkable.
Yeah, we were very critical after the Chopes wipeouts. So sort of did feel like, man, like, what are you chasing here? Like, what are you actually after? And this is perfect proof of why he's doing what he's doing. Like, he knows that he's got the ability and he's got the drive to get one of the best waves ever ridden in the history of that place. And it is his comfort zone for sure. Like, I agree. The comeback story of this is huge. Have you seen the Yeti film that Keith Malloy made on Tommy?
I saw, yeah, it had to have been that film.
Mate, it's
he
epic.
visits the family. He's in this trippy little garden
That's
setting.
it.
Yeah.
Talks to his old man and stuff. It's just like, it actually sort of rewired my sort of whole take on his life and why he does what he does. I'm not sure how old it is or whatever, but well worth a look. Like, if you just type in Tommy Lowe Yeti films Keith Malloy, it'll pop up. But really good series of films actually by Keith on those Yeti riders. And but that's like this wave took me back to that film. What motivates him? What, you know, how he gets it done, the injuries and everything, and you feel so proud for him, man. Like, you're just going, this is sick. Like, this guy is no sort of like fame chaser. He is dead set chasing the experience of a lifetime, and he's fully scored it here on what will be a legendary day. Like, not just in sort of European surfing, but just globally. Because that wave's been tapped a lot by foreign, like, visiting surfers. Everyone from Joel Fitz back in the day right through to, you know, Noah and Russ Bjerke, like, they know and they can sort of articulate what's going on over there, and they have done. And so that, like, imagine like their take on this wave. Would it be well worth getting it?
Yeah, and it just feels like a sign that, you know, stay put, like, just dedicate yourself to your local spots, and, you know, you get a reward from the universe. And Fergal was onto this early. Fergal Smith, remember when I was up there with him, he was kind of already had a gut full of doing trips. You know, the analog were trying to send him to Hawaii or the Galapagos or wherever it was in the Irish winter, because, you know, those same swells, I guess, traveling further south and smashing into Polynesia, and he just didn't want to do it. He's like, and he was willing to pass up his entire pro surfing career just to stay at home, grow fucking kale and potatoes and pumpkin, and surf his local spots. And it looks like, Tom Lowe's borrowing from that lineage. They were good mates back in the day. I'm sure they still are. They were the original trio, really, to put Irish surfing on the map. You know, although Tom's from Cornwall, as is Mickey, but that trio, they blew our minds in the early 2000s. And to see him get the just desserts now in the form of the best wave ever paddled out there is so sick. It's really cosmic. I'm just looking at a replay of it now. The thickness of the shoulder as it pits and how howling offshore the wind is. It's the most intimidating possible situation. He gets the most buttery chip in. Like, I don't know what the tide's doing, but it's like there's always a bit of a chip there. This one, it really stands up and crumbles and gives him this really good look at an entry. And there's a fucking guy trying to tow it. He's basically called off a dude trying to tow it to get into it. There's a more extensive rundown of the context leading up to this wave that I'll read you now, Vaughn. This is what I have to say. I'm finally home with my family after the gnarliest run of waves I've ever had. I've got 2 rides of my life in the same week. After all I've been through, I found it hard to process it without breaking down in tears most days. Not sad tears, but just pure gratitude. I was literally dead 6 months ago, so extremely nervous heading over to chase my first giant swell. When I reached the Mudderlands, I felt a weight lift off my chest and I knew I was where I was meant to be. From that first big day, everything just felt so freeing, and I managed to catch special rides each session and the swells kept coming, with each one bigger than the next. Then the mega beast toe swell lined up, and he has toe in air quotes or in inverted commas. Then the mega beast toe swell lined up, and it was time to see if I could take it to another level. Jumping off the rocks was easy enough as myself and Robbie paddled out. I watched a few from the channel and made my way to the takeoff spot. Robbie followed me out, and we got one under our belts pretty fast. Then Ned joined the madness. I think that's Ned Hart, the Aussie.
Yeah.
The sets were giant, and with howling offshores and more skis than I've ever seen towing anything that moved, it was about as challenging as it gets to line anything up. After accepting that it wouldn't happen given all the ski carnage, I found myself paddling with everything I had into a beast. A tow guy was behind again, and in my peripheral. It was pretty off-putting, but I was committed and no turning back. I found my line, and it felt like forever to get down as I hit those big ribs in the face. But as soon as I recovered, it was perfect as I set my stance and entered another dimension. Coming out, I've never felt so happy after a wave. I just floated in the water, looking up at the sky, laughing. A handful of days later, and I'm only just coming down from that high now. I want to thank my wife for always holding it down whilst I chased my dream, and for being there for me through those tough times after my accident. Shout out to the crew that I got to share these mind-blowing days with, that will be with us forever.
You. How good.
So good, man. And just an acknowledgement of the tow circus out there. I watched that Tim Benithan clip, which was like a full rundown of the swell, and fuck, there was some ugly surfing going on. Holy shit. Like, I get it. Like, there's a lot of waves that can't be paddled, and that's what the tow guys there are there for, to mop those ones up. But jeez, like, it's just gross to watch. You'd almost rather him just rifle through empty from a spectator point of view. I honestly don't really respect or enjoy that brand of surfing. It just it looks gross. It's not like, I mean, it's not something that I can really speak of any authority on, but I don't know how challenging it is, really. Like, the drop, like, compared to paddling one, something about it doesn't sit well with me when there's guys like Tom Lowe out there paddling, and he's got to contend with all that bullshit of, like, you know, these kind of D-grade surfers a lot of the time are throwing him off as he's trying to, like, set a new benchmark for surfing history.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a disgrace, if you ask me.
Disgrace! Well, listen, man, I've in my life, I've never towed a wave. Like, I've never actually been whipped in behind on a rope to a wave. I remember doing a tow at once where I tried to do an air on a 1 foot day at Southie. That didn't end well. About 19 backflips just over the horizon, this fucking long noodle. But I have done a few step-offs at Cloudy's on a day that was pretty solid. And it's a piece of piss, mate. Honestly, like, the fact that you're not having to get in position, you're not having to, like, get under the ledge, and, you know, like, the speed you've got, and the once you're on the wave, like, you're just fishing for where you begin surfing. Because up until then, you're just cruising on this big lump of swell with all the speed in the world, and yeah, it takes all the consequence out of it until you start. You know, cloud breaks may be a slightly different sort of beast, just because the day we were doing it was a bit devil windy. It was still sort of 6 to 8 foot, I suppose, and once it starts hitting the reef and proper rifling, you want to make sure you haven't rinsed off too much speed. Like, you're still a little bit of surfing sort of to do there. But on these, like, gigantic days where crew are just fanging it in and just letting go of a rope, I mean, you know, it's these days, these particular days are still going to end you. Like, they can end your life if you fuck it. So there's that element to it. But I just don't know. Like, it just does not compare to the paddle. No way, bro. Like, not even close. Like, not even slightly.
Oh,
and how many of these crew towing could actually paddle into one is the other question.
Probably zero. Like,
probably zero.
Because the best surfers in the world, none of them tow days like this. They're all out there paddling. You know, the only guy who really made a mental one on a tow rope was Nick Von Rupp. I think he got a couple.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two of the Irish lads got a couple, but pretty much every other wave I saw was either a pocket ride or worse.
Yeah.
And, like your Nate Florences, your Twiggies, your Mel's, your Billy Kempers, your Tom Lowe's, your Rusby Erks, like these guys are not interested in towing because they realize it just takes all of the skill and actual surfing IQ out of the equation. And therefore, what are you doing out there really? Like, you're getting a mad adrenaline dump. And you're a part of a kind of backslapping scene where everyone's, I'm sure there's a lot of camaraderie and there's a lot of good vibes that come out of doing something like that. But from a spectator point of view and from the point of view of the world's best surfers, it's a fucking nuisance.
Yeah. I think maybe the only exception is just those backless Code Browns at Chopes, where you've got guys who spend their entire lives surfing that wave, can paddle it up to the very limit of it, and then when they know that it's beyond that, they'll okay, chuck me the rope.
Yeah.
But that's the like beyond that, dude, there's not a whole lot, eh? A couple of South Coast slabs, maybe, like there's crew, but even that gets noses turning. People start getting a big whiff if they don't think it's up to scratch.
Oh yeah. There's just a couple of situations where it's fine, but even the Chopes ones probably become more hassle than it's worth now too, because on those borderline days, you're having to deal with a bunch of skis and you're seeing some crazy shit now. I think fucking stuffing some dude. Maybe it was even Matahai. Remember the trio of them, all in a big old backless Chopes pit that Eno paddled. So and I've heard a lot of complaints coming out of Chopes. So sure, tow the Code Browns, but fuck, man, when you're relying on people to self-regulate, it's a big issue in surfing. It's probably the biggest issue the culture confronts, and jet skis have just proved to be fucking diabolical in the bigger picture.
Oh, mate, yeah. Well, I only have to look back to Kira at the start of last year.
Exactly.
And what a metaphor it was, Smithy, for the year ahead, wasn't it? Perfect wave, so much promise, and just burnt behind ski fumes. Oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah. And the only waves I remember from that swell were paddled by absolute fucking icons like Chris Saffis and James Woods. Right in the middle of all that ski madness, these fucking battler, calord, tradesman maniac just getting the craziest vision all under their own steam. Fucking legends.
Love it.
Doff of the gaff.
Big Doff of the gaff.
Calord swinging the rhino chasers
We
out
must
there.
off. We must. Number 2.
You know what? Before we get there, we've actually missed a couple other fucking momentous moments in big wave surfing. Did you catch this thing by Twiggy Baker?
Nah, missed the twig one.
Oh man, you got to have a squeeze. It's at that classic Hawaiian outer reef, and it is again the best one I've seen paddled out there. I mean, John's got one that's very similar in whatever that old video was. But yeah, this is in that conversation.
Oh my good Lord.
This thing is fucking outrageous. Twiggy is the guy. What is this guy? Is he like 50 now?
He's well north of 50.
Wow.
Surely.
Well, that's outrageous because he's doing some of the best surfing in his life right now. This is a proper 30 to 40 foot lined up runner on that infamous outer reef in Hawaii. He makes a buttery drop on his 9.6 78-litre Bushman quad. The thing ledges out, but the girth of the sled and the paddle power gets him over the hump, and the Bushman just takes off like a banana getting squirted out of a peel. He proceeds to come off the bottom, grabbing rail, and line up a humongous inside cone. How good is Twiggy? Like, this guy is low-key one of the best we've seen. Like, he's right up. He doesn't get the plaudits, but when you look back on the greatest waves paddled, he's definitely got one of them at Jaws. Don't know if that'll ever be topped, and that was done deep into his 40s. And now this thing, backside just the read and the trust in his
Wow.
equipment and the trust, in his ability.
And
It's
look at some of these.
peerless.
Look at some of these comments here from the elite Smivvy, Thomas Victor Carroll, TVC. God, that place is special. You made yourself available and she let you in proper, Twiggy. Superior timing, sense of scale, pulling hard up the face on the right equipment is your forte, old mate. Pure brilliance. Oh, you made yourself available and she let you in proper. Go TVC. Legs akimbo of Smivvy.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And he has just got his mouth right in the maw,
Yep.
sucking down on the juices of life, biting down on the fruit of the nectar, the fruit, and letting the juices drip down his chin on this one. Well played.
Oh, mate, Barton Lynch, you are, and it was incredible. The combination of a few superpowers there. Dave Wassel, that was such a beautiful day. Amazing wave by Skin Dizzle. This is just like who's who, Smithy, just raining. And here's our boy Smithy. Incredible, man. You are fully approaching GOAT status.
What about, so the way he gets into this thing, like there's so much energy on the drop. The way the board just takes off and squirts him down the ledge is crazy, but then it kind of loses a bit of shape and then goes again. Like the inside section just grows and breathes. It's such a huge pit. It's fucking crazy what these guys do. I mean, you talk about the folly of toe surfing. Well, this is absolute proof of it. This is the purest level of surfing. I would rather watch this wave over 10,000 toe waves of any description. Like, this is worth so much more to me.
No, you've nailed it, man. You've nailed it for sure. That's a howler. Go the twig.
Up the twig.
And also, just worth noting that he did sign a pretty decent contract with Rip Curl last year. So,
sick.
Yeah, man, it's good to see that, it's always been a bugbear for you, Smithy, that these surfers, whether it's on the slabs or, paddle surfing, just, these mutant beasts in these far-flung regions, or in this case on a outer reef, getting their comeuppance, getting their just rewards, having a little bit of spare change to keep chasing a dream or put a roof over their heads, bruh.
Yeah, well said, well said. And we got to doff the gaff to the great Ollie Dowsett, who has to be one of the most gifted and committed surfers on earth. Obviously lost a leg in a terrible accident there in Indo. But have a look at what this guy's doing. This really is baffling. He's with one prosthetic leg, he's pulling vert knives on cupped out 10 footers with no obvious sign he's even got one leg. He's knifing 8 footers backside at pipe, paddling huge ones at Himalayas, and he's just figuring out how to surf at a kind of a high performance level, like do proper turns and shit with one leg. It's fucking spellbinding. He is an absolute goat.
Yeah. He's rewriting the book. Everything that you are. There's just no limitation for this guy. Like it's just a challenge that he's up for, and I think it's been. You look at those photos and you're just going, "Fuck!" There's no chance I'm surfing that. Like that's beyond my fucking realm of possibility. He's out there just fucking sending it.
It's so crazy. It's like a classical knife on a howling offshore. I mean, how big are you calling that? That is north of 10 foot, that thing. It's fucking out of control. He's a maniac.
I want to give a shout out to Smivvy, to Kai McKenzie, who's actually back in hospital. He had a few maybe infections, or I don't know what's going on with his leg, but he was showing me sort of like his prosthetic during Stab High. We had a little surf together, and he took me out to the car and just sort of showed me the mechanics of these things now, and they're just like, they're starting to get so bionic and cybernetic, dude. Like, the hinges, the springs, like the way that they're all working, and it's good science for these guys who want to keep surfing at the highest level. Like the technology's starting to keep up with them, with their dreams and desires,
Yeah, that's amazing. Come on, Boffins. Come
Let's
on, you
go.
futurists.
Let's get it going
Let's
on.
go. Let's hook the lads up with some proper limbs so they can do what they do best, which is fucking shroud and knife and pack orbs of mortal consequence.
Yeah, and get well soon, Kai.
Yeah,
Heal
Kai.
up, brother. Number 2.
Mate, in case you've been living under a rock, John is fully back and looking as fucked up as ever. A psycho compilation of him on Instagram ripping signature snowboarding down carves and roundhouses at firing well overhead sunset. What did you make of this, Rinse Corn?
Dude, I just thought for a bloke who is famously stingy at releasing anything, since he got off the boat, he has just been firing shots across the bow, ripping the gloves off, throwing down the gauntlet, and just saying to every single person on tour, come at me, bruh. Like, think of the top 5 from last year, Smithy. You got Yago, Jack Robbo, Geordie Smith, Italo, and who was the Griffin? Yeah. Like, not a lot coming out from those guys. Jack's obviously recovering from injury, so we don't expect to. But, like, Gabe's on the comeback. Haven't even seen a wave of him. And meanwhile, like, this guy who has had a year completely off the radar is just dropping clip after clip of just this slippery, powerful, high-speed fucking just rail shamanism and aerial fucking craziness. Like, have you seen some of the backside punts he's been doing? Crazy stuff, dude. And I just reckon it's a flex. Like, what more could it be? Like, why is he out of nowhere just dropping wave after wave of surfing that almost nobody else on this planet can do?
No one can do that kind of surfing. I mean, Ewing maybe, but like, there is no one who has that kind of relationship with Hawaiian waves like John. Just the bottom turn right into the most critical cupped out part of the wave and ripping the most severe down carve with pure style and flow and not a bobble. It is outrageous. Yeah. You can't go harder at a section with more poise and style than that. I'm watching on a continuous loop now, and you can't stop watching it. It's actually has the same feel of watching Curran at J-Bay in Searching for Tom Curran. If you just want to see the most beautiful rail surfing of all time, this is it. It's happening right now in real time. Let's go,
Mate, I can't believe, Smithy, just how much his board sits on top of water before he engages the rail. Like, his speed is so, like, the best way I can describe it is like an ice hockey puck. Like, he sort of like comes out of bottom turns like he's been slapped by a stick. He's going that quick. There's just nothing catching. And then the second he engages the rail, he can drag all that speed, just harness it like a fucking fleet of Roman chariot rider, just whipping fucking 19 horses and just flogging them around the Colosseum. Like, he's just so good in the juice. But I just think about the first 3 comps of next year's season, mate. Like, Bells, say we get it's a late Bells. It's back in April for the first time in a while. Like, if we get like juicy Southern Ocean swell, fuck, he's going to be so at home there. Former winner.
Oh, mate, the similarities
straight to Margaret River.
Yeah,
straight to Margaret River. That's
they're
the
Hawaiian
first 2
style
comps of the
waves,
year.
aren't they? They're both long period open ocean rights. They are right. They couldn't be more in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, and then like fuck, straight to snapper behind the rock. Like, do you think he has surfed like more funky? You know, like the argument for snapper was always like, hey, it's just so hard to beat Joel, Mick, and Dingo out there. This is like in those dream tour years with Kelly and Andy and everything. But mate, if one guy is just going to perch himself as deep as anyone ever has out there and not just deal with it, it's John, because him and Nathan surf so many funky, freaky, sort of like warbly reef setups and slabs. So these first 3 comps of the year are just going to be wild, mate. I think that the first 2 really allow him to open up deluxe if there's swell, though.
Mate, and he has pretty much married into a snapper dynasty. His missus is from there. He spends a lot of time there. So, he's going to be fully primed for that event. And one thing I did notice surfing alongside him in Hawaii is how early he gets into waves. And I think that is a real secret to his ability to, like you said, like keep his board above the water and never bog or catch. he's just like on the drop, he's in early and he's like surfing, like he's surfing down the drop as opposed to knifing or being hung up in it. And it just gives him an extra bit of direction and control and his ability to harness speed and position himself closer to the power source. Like you can see him on that first turn in this clip winding up at the bottom in a place where most people are kind of still gathering themselves after the drop. He's already like tic-tacking down the face, setting his line, little fades, little checks, and then just powering off the bottom into the coping like a fucking mad heathen. What a talent he is, and full credit to his relationship with Pizel, because there's something in those boards. I don't know if it's hidden volume or a little bit of that one doesn't look like there's a whole lot of beef under the chest, but it has a bit of that kind of JS big horse hidden volume in it where he's able to really paddle like a maniac and get in early, which is a real secret, I think, to his success.
Mate, it's going to be, we'll go deep on this coming year in sort of future eps, I guess, as we get closer to kick off to the new Wazzle season. But want to hear a couple of cheeky rumours?
Oh, yeah, give me something.
I've heard that through the grapevine, real secondhand, that Ethan Hewing has been engaging Josh Kerr for some air game tips. So he's looking to strengthen up that aspect of his surfing, I believe. And I've also heard that Micro might be back on tour next year in different capacity, maybe working with Rio Wider and a couple of other surfers. So he might be popping up here and there across the tour. A couple of little tidbits for you, mate.
I like that. I like Ethan's reinvigorating of his aerial game because, being where he's from, which is, essentially like a shifty beach break, like for sure he's grown up doing high level aerial surfing. And we've seen bits and bobs of it. It's just that I guess when your strength is so good on rail, there seems to be it becomes a bit of an obsession where you just lean into your strength a lot. But as we've pointed out over and over again, like it feels almost impossible to be able to win a world title now without a world-class aerial game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to go to anyone, you may as well go to Josh Kerr because he spent a lifetime being the guy who broke new ground with aerial surfing, and then his spawn is obviously the best. If not the best, then one of the top 2 or 3 aerialists in women's surfing. So, yeah, I think that's a really good move from Hewing, if it's true, which I'm pretty sure it is. Number 1.
Big news in Spono World Rinse Corn. Medina is a wrap with Rip Curl. It's all
Gandhi.
over. This is according to Stab Magazine. Gabrielle Medina will be parting ways with Rip Curl. The whispers suggest it's not so much a clash of egos, but rather the collision of Medina's orbiting supernova with the surf industry's relatively modest gravitational pull. Rip Curl apparently offered him a renewal, but the 32-year-old, with a certain nonchalance, dare I say it, turned it down. The lion has left the zoo. It feels like Gabby Star might have finally burned too brightly for the surf world to contain. The cliffs of Jan Juk seem a quaint and tragic expanse compared to the golden hills of Hollywood, where his talents might fit better alongside real global sports stars like Neymar. So where does one go when the world is at your feet? What sticker could possibly hold enough gravitas for a man of his stature? Perhaps a horse and polo from Ralph Lauren, or something more avant-garde, like a Gabby times Gucci collab. Or dare we suggest an exclusive Chanel line? What do you make of this, Vaughn? Are you close to the Rip Curl head honchos? Medina at 32 hasn't done a whole lot in recent memory in terms of competitive success, and really like all of his eggs are in that basket. He doesn't put out free surfing clips. So if his contract was up at the end of this latest stanza of his career, I'm sure it came in a bit under what he would have been hoping for, but that's completely fair. He just hasn't had the form in recent years.
Yeah, man. It's probably been 5 years since we've seen Medina at peak Medina. There's been a couple of injuries. There was a year he missed the cut. his standout moment of the past 5 years is that day at Chopes during the Olympics. He gets a photo that literally explodes the internet, detonates the thing, but it's the Olympics. No Rip Curl sticker on his board. I don't even know if he had boardies on. So, yeah, the value of him for what his contract probably is doesn't add up, for one thing. And, does he translate into a guy selling, millions of dollars worth of product in Brazil or anywhere else for that matter? Like, I think people love Medina. I think he's a surfer that everyone wants to have on tour and stuff. But, how does it translate in Australia to sales and that sort of thing? It's a bit of a tricky one to kind of get your head around without actually even looking at the numbers. I've got no idea. But I do agree that the value of Medina, as good as he is, and as long as that relationship has been, is hard to sort of put. Like if you're running and you've got like a bunch of new talent coming through, can you justify paying the same money over and over and over for almost zero return? Like, he's coming back to the tour. Maybe that'll be the motivation for him to go ballistic. I'm not sure, but I kind of can see where Rip Curl's coming from, for sure.
For sure. It does feel like an extra incentive for Medina to rip some fucking heads off this year on the World Tour.
It does, man. But, like, what is his motivation these days? Like, it's kind of feels like surely money and, like, moving on from a major sponsor wouldn't factor into his MO. Like, I would figure that John being back is probably number one. Not wanting to get left behind. I also reckon Italo being with Nike and like those photos of him hanging out with Neymar and LeBron James and like that world.
That was AI. Yeah.
Was it definitely AI? Yeah.
It had to be.
Well, I wasn't sure because apparently there was a campaign that was shot with using like a lot of Nike A-listers, but I was with you. I was going, that can't be real.
Or maybe it was real then. I don't know. I just
maybe
there's so many fakes coming out now. It's
well, I just think, like Medina is the big dog of the Brazilian Storm still. Like, no matter what, Felipe or Italo, even Iago coming through, and Adriano obviously in the mix as well. But it's Medina who is the very pointy end of that spear, dude. And it's been a long time since he's been able to flex. So maybe it's just about getting over his countrymen and just reminding everyone that he is the guy. Because that could be a bigger motivation than just, like moving on from a long-term sponsor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He is the pointy end of that spear. Just ask any of the hundreds of women who've felt the pointy end of that spear. And,
totally.
I'll tell you,
totally.
It is a great point you make there that it all hinges on him. He is the original and the best from the Brazilian Storm.
Yeah.
And he's proven himself in all conditions against all comers. So this is a great storyline. Because heading into this World Tour season, it's like Ali coming back after his stint in prison. It's like, what's he got left in the tank for us? Is he going to tarnish his legacy and just peter out and end up back on the Chang? This is going to be the internal monologue going on in Medina's head. He really hasn't put together a season in a number of years. And this is the most stacked World Tour men's field we've seen in a long time. It's in the old format. Fuck, it's going to be rad to watch. Like, how is he going to do?
Yeah.
And who's going to sponsor him?
Mate, Green Room Times threw out the best post where they just photoshopped a bunch of different stickers on his boards. But getting back to my point before, I reckon he might go down that like elite sports sort of sports brand road where, okay, well, Italo's with Nike. If I can't get on that Nike team, I might try and get on the Adidas team or something like that. One of those huge sporting brands that's so iconic, has a psycho global team, not just across one sport, but across all sports. I feel like that might be the obvious road, unless he goes the self-made brand angle.
Oh, yeah.
And just like tries to bring out, because he's just brought out remember that whole fiasco where he sort of faked us all with the baby, the Instagram, what do they call that? The fucking
the fetus fake.
the fetus thing on the little surfboard.
Fetus gate. Yeah.
Then it was just a little clothing brand or soft top company or something like that. So maybe he'll just double down and go, fuck, I don't know. Maybe I just start my own brand.
Is he too associated? Is he too associated with Rip Curl to sign for another big surf company? Like Yago doesn't have that problem because he's not as established and as glued to Volcom in my mind as Medina is with Rip Curl.
Yeah. I just don't think another surf brand would make a play for him, man. Like, I can't think who would be the first in line to chuck money at him, like a decent amount.
It's a gamble. It's a real risk because he might tank this year and it might be all over after this year. Like, that's the trajectory he's on. It's a downward one. So
yeah,
who's going to throw huge money? The amount of money he's going to be asking for because of who he is, especially in Brazil and the level of celebrity he has, it'd be fucking astronomical. But look, the results just aren't there to justify that.
And who's got room? Who's got room in their budget and within their team? You know, like I just can't. I can't see a surf company coming through on this one. Like it'd be absolutely astounding if someone found a big chunk of money, that much money, without clearing out a whole bunch of other people.
And we know how competitive the Brazilians are. Do you think there is a little bit of jealousy over seeing Isla sign with Nike and kind of achieve what so many surfers wanted to achieve of them, most notably Julian Wilson, where, you know, they wanted to be considered in that echelon of top tier Nike talent, but it just wasn't really on the table for the surfing part of that company. But now Idolo's managed to get there and he's hanging out with the fucking big dogs. And maybe there's a bit of like I've achieved more than this guy. And here he is, stealing me thunder.
Yeah,
I'm the one who hangs out with Neymar and Ronaldinho and fucking whoever else.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon there fully is a little bit of that in there, man. Like, I mean, from an Australian or US perspective or Europe or anywhere else in the world, I don't think that matters at all. But in Brazil, where you measured on sport in surfing, like I don't know how many Brazilians or how much their culture sort of leans into every single aspect of surfing outside of results. You know, like when I was talking to Yago's manager, he was like, yeah, man, Yago's life will be completely different now that he's won this world title. You know, it means everything to have a world champion in a place where there's not a whole lot to celebrate all the time. And I think for Medina, it just makes way more sense to me that he's going to look at Idolo and go, well, I'm not taking anything less than that. Like, I want to be on a team. I'm a superstar. Yeah?
And how is Idolo?
I'm a superstar.
Yeah.
Where's the red carpet? Where's me? Like, if I'm not hanging out with Neymar, then I may as well hang out with Messi and frickin' whoever else is on Adidas. I don't know.
Where's the red carpet? And also, where's the respect?
Yeah, exactly, man.
Respect me, Ridgeway. Respect.
Yeah, well, mate, look, it's interesting times for Medina. Him and John are obviously the two big stories coming into this year. Like, they're coming from opposite sides of the galaxy. They couldn't be in a more opposite place in every aspect. Like, this is just yet another aspect that separates them hugely, man, because, you know, John has his own brand that is kicking ass and is super successful. He doesn't need the industry at all. He is the industry now. And Medina's just parted ways and is just walking around with no stickers on his board. Well, he's got like fucking 200 other stickers, but the major sticker, the nose sticker, is not there.
He actually couldn't have more stickers on his board. He's just, you're right. He's missing the big one on the snout.
Yeah, so it's just another sort of polar opposite and contrast between these two.
Oh, it's such a good storyline. I love it. You're so right. You've got two guys coming from either ends of the surfing galaxy. You've got this Captain Ahab castaway coming back with his pubes, scraggly beard, and then you've got this other guy who couldn't have less body hair or facial hair. He's shaved schmick as a porcelain vase. Yeah. And they're just going to be colliding into each other. One guy's on the up and up. He's got a family. He's got a wife. He's got a boat. He's got his own brand. He's living this core purist surfing lifestyle. And then the other guy's kind of got none of that. Don't know if he's got a wife. doesn't have a kiddie. I mean, he's pumping out fake fetuses on Instagram. I don't know what kind of Freudian maneuver that is, but it's a disgrace. And also, no sponsor, no form. Like, this is like Rocky Balboa meets fucking what was his name? Not Crusher Cleel, Apollo something or other, or Drago. Pick your sloppy metaphors wherever you want them.
Yeah.
But it really is, Medina's going to be there running up and down the stairs of favelas in Sao Paulo and Mauritius, punching the carcasses of slain favela victims. And, it's really got an amazing storyline to it. The more we talk about it, wow. John versus Medina. Wow, let's get it on, Rince Corn.
Will it end up being the story of this year? That's the other crazy thing, because, both guys are as psycho as the John footage is. Like, he's still got to, shave off a bit of rust, not just the neck beard. He's got to shave off, he's got to get that salty rust out of the system in terms of, the competitive mindset and the gamesmanship. Because Medina, you think, will slot back into that quicker. That's kind of how you see it. The other thing is, how is Medina going to react to having everyone having, really watched and understood and fucking known, learnt from him that getting up under people and being fucking ruthless in a heat is kind of the way it's done. It's got to be an element of it. And so how's he going to cope with that when these young guys, these people who, when he left the tour, were just Groms, getting not giving him an inch, man? Is he going to be able to cop that, or is he going to bring out his best, or is it going to just melt him?
I cannot wait to see that. The Griffins, the Crosbys, the Conor O'Learys, the Cole Houshmans, all these guys have got a full wind up him. In his absence, just fucking paddling up his rashy, giving him nothing. That's such a salivating prospect.
Joao, man. Imagine having him in a heat. He's going to have his own countrymen who would have looked at him with starry eyes once upon a time. They'll just be going, nah, man. Nah, you're old, bro. Relic.
And Yago, the world champ. Big, rangy, such a similar body type and skill set to Medina. Who, and a few years younger than him, may well have fully usurped Medina in every possible category. It's fascinating. And where it concerns John and Medina, you feel like this is all just a bonus for John. The only reason he's back is because he loves competing. He's talked about this. His whole kind of goal when it concerns competing is just to unlock that flow state. And I feel like he's so deeply in that flow state with a child and a loving wife. And his life is going so fucking good right now, sponsoring his two brothers, his own company. He is just in the ultimate flow. And all he's experienced for the last year is being in the flow of the universe, literally sailing the seven seas, slaying giant sea cocks.
What conversations, Smithy? Imagine the conversations that John has had with the ocean, talking to it, needing it to behave or needing to adapt to its moods in ways that no one else has in the last year. His time on water is, oh man, think about how much pro surfers love surfing. He's probably 50-1 in terms of just time on water, on ocean.
It's a great point.
Crazy what you would learn and how you would understand.
Mate,
it goes back to this. But it goes back to this story that Danny Johnson was telling during the making of the Rasta East. How they had the whole team filming Rasta, and he surfed all morning, and he came in on the beach, and everyone packed up their cameras, thinking, "Oh, he's done." Standing on the beach, but he just stood on the beach for 15, 20 minutes and just watch the clouds. And sure enough, he goes and just doesn't tell anyone, just paddles back out. And everyone's like, oh, what? They have to unpack all their shit. And then there's just a glass off and it just starts pumping. And that's the kind of ocean knowledge and sort of sky and nature watching that John's been doing for over a year, man. So
it's
it doesn't
a great
surprise
point,
me that
mate. Sorry, go on.
No, it just doesn't surprise me that he's surfing the way he's surfing in Hawaii right now. It's almost like I'm sure like most of the setups he was surfing were pretty novelty, and now he's just back where him in the ocean and the reefs have a complete understanding of each other. He's never had a better read on the moods of the sea, and he's doing the surfing that he's doing for a reason.
Mate, it's such a great point because that was Slater's secret weapon for so long. Just his ability to study conditions and get the rub no matter what was going on. I mean, most famously, in my opinion, beaten Mick and Joel at all-time Kira on their home break. Fuck, that was so crazy. And it was all because he was down there on dark the night before, scrutinizing the cons. And we've seen Slater's relationship with Cloudbreak yield similarly mind-bending results.
Oh, mate, saw him do it to Bede Durbridge. Bede was practically had both hands on the Bell's trophy, 10 seconds to go, and Slater makes a bolt from the bowl straight over to Rincon in this weird little mid-tide sort of blustery fucking Hail Mary decision, and the wave comes, double grab air, and fucking, like, honestly, like, there was nothing there, like, during the entire heat, and he picked it.
And that's what makes surfing so rad. It's not just a competition between abilities, it's competition in terms of your connection to the ocean, and John John's connection is going to be completely peerless at that level. And this is unprecedented. No world champ has ever gone off and fucking sailed a catamaran around the Pacific for a year and then come back to try and win another world title. It's like the ultimate doff to the core lords. Like he's lived the freaking, he's gone down the route of, I don't know, who are the great sailor surfers? Greeno, your Martin Daly's, your freaking your Abdul's, you kind of Mike Boyham's, like you remember Abdul? He was one of the first. I think he was the first to ever surf G-Land. Sailed over there from Bali on a Hobie Cat under starlight. So he's channeling that, but we're now going to get to see how that skill set channels into a competitive jersey. That is the salivating prospect.
Oh, let's go, Smithy!
Hey, just quickly, Yago, we got to mention him. Done with Volcom. It's a wrap. This is what he had to say. I would like to thank Volcom for the amazing ride these past 14 years have been, from the VQS TCT days to starring in Psychic Migrations, qualifying to the World Tour, and in 2025 becoming Volcom's first world champion. So much history and so much to be thankful for. My sincere appreciation to all the people that were involved in this history. Times are always changing. This chapter has come to an end, and it's time for a new chapter in my career, which I'm very excited to announce soon. Great news coming in 2026. Much love. So he's signed with Isla.
Yeah.
Which is Paul Nord owned, I believe, still, and still a subsidiary of Billabong, like connected to the Billabong franchise, or are they separate now?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't even know that was a thing, but pretty good fit. Like, if they've got the coin and the company's ripping, they haven't really got an alpha, and this just plonks them like right up into the frame in terms of just being a brand that's going to have constant, what do you call it? Just a constant presence in the elite space. Seems like a really good buy, and for Yago as well. You know, like Volcom, it does fall under that sort of big umbrella of the brands that are all under there now, like Billabong and Quick and that. But you know, I think that for him, Noah and Jack Robbo and just sort of like trying to feel like the world champ. Like, does the world title mean as much to Volcom as it would to other brands, do you reckon?
Yeah, that's such a good
like,
point.
You know, like all of that effort and all of that, and then Noah Dean comes out, wins Surfer of the Year, and I'm sure like Volcom would value that just as highly as they would a world title.
Yeah, that's the DNA of the brand. It's always been that. It's been the underground grit merchant, grimy surf culture brand, and Yago was such a good fit for that for his entire career, like, because he was Brazil's version of that, you know, the son of a metalhead skate punk core lord legend in Leandro, and himself, like a very atypical Brazilian style surfer for much of his
Yeah.
career. You never really. I was kind of almost surprised when he went down the competitive route. I thought, he better belonged in your kind of new school Vulcan reimaginings of, the computer bodies and whatever other classic films they
Yeah.
had. He fitted that archetype better than the competitive ones. So I thought, but how wrong we were. World champ now in 2025. And it is a packed house over there with Noah Dean and Jack Robbo in the mix too.
Yeah, and also like I mean, all these servers have bonuses and there's money attached to world titles. We all know that. That's just like common sense. But I just wonder whether Vulcan, like I know they're in a rebuilding phase, like after, a few years, the tumultuous years there where the management's changed radically and trying to figure out or trying to hold on to and reinvigorate their brand identity is a big part of what's going on right now. And maybe Yago's just like, man, just fuck, I just want to surf. I want to be the brand that values my my achievements and what I can bring to it. And it does seem like a pretty good fit, like going over to Visla, because they're a pretty cool brand too, like from the looks of things. Like most of the surfers I've seen that they sponsor are out there doing really cool shit, like just getting on out there on adventures and getting piped out of their dial. And a guy like Yago, his mood seems to suit that company even, just his general demeanor seems to fit in well with it. But yeah, surprising, a little bit surprising, but I think that, Vulcan, they've just signed Jaleesa. They've got Noah. Jack Robbo is probably still their big investment for a world title in the next year or two. And it seems like they're kind of just streamlining their vision back to what the brand identity is. And I've got to say, Smithy, like fucking big off to Nozza for winning Surfer of the Year in that stab poll, man. We got to vote in that and we had our say about it. But I was so fucking stoked that he got it, man. It was sick. And well earned, in my opinion. Very well earned for a guy who just is so ruthlessly committed to getting piped out of his dial and sending it huck deluxe, poking it out, boning, all that sort of thing. And yeah, real happy with that. And a shout out to Casey too. He's wingman that he's been building these films around and just, oh man, works of art. A little bit surprised that did they get the DOF for stimulant? Yeah. Did they? Don't know. I know Harry and Dav won for their latest offering. We'll have to wait and see, brother. I can't remember the results now, but big thanks to Stab for getting us involved. And also epic shout to our girl Molly Picklum for taking out the women's. Very happy with both those results.
Well earned. Well earned.
Is that number one? Number one.
That was number one.
Oh, that was number one. Hey, mate, unders or overs? I want to talk to you about Stab in the Dark X. We got sent a little preview clip. You went to the what was it? The premiere of episode 1?
Yes, correct.
Hey, mate, I watched it this morning and I pissed myself. I thought it was fucking genius. Like, Stab in the Dark is an incredible product, and it's had there were a couple of years that I didn't kind of invest that hard, but then it would be offset by a good East year, the surfboard experiment. So
yeah, shout out to Ellis Erickson for taking that out too. Good friend of the program, good friend of ours. On
Fully.
you, Ian. Well played.
Yeah, well done, Barnesy.
Well earned.
That was sick. Yeah, and that was a cool series. But like this one with the GOAT is just looking that good, and having that first ep with the 5 pure like big egos, the big dick swingers in the shaping industry, just passive aggressively tearing each other to pieces. The whole ep was fucking genius, man.
Mate, they're the kings of banter, aren't they? Shapers. There's just something in the dynamic of gruff, dust huffing surf legends, aging surf legends that just spawn some of the best banter you've ever heard, and they're just fucking teeing off relentlessly over a bottle of Patron. God, mate, you feel sorry for Brit being the whippersnapper at 40 or something. The old school, core. Fuck, they didn't miss him, did they?
Mate, talk us through the sort of the energy in the room and like where was it? I'm curious to know because I just watched it by myself on the phone and I enjoyed it so much. Like the banter, as you say, was hilarious. Getting them pissed was a masterstroke. Like fucking hilarious. Like they really start going below the belt at times during that episode.
Oh, mate, how are the rinses on Brit? I mean, the reminiscing of that original Surfer magazine roundtable where
Oh
I
yeah, you
think
can't blow it. You got to let people watch
Yeah,
it.
okay.
It's so
Fuck.
brutal though.
Oh,
But hey,
goddamn. Rough.
what were your highlights of just that night?
Yeah, it was a fun night. I was at Brunswick Picture House, which is a rad venue. And, mate, just, good to see all of my former colleagues. Love having a yarn, had a good chinwag with Sam. And, mate, he had some unbelievable goat stories, which didn't go in the documentary. It was more like the making of the Stab in the Dark and what it takes to wrangle the goat. Holy shit. I mean, this is a story you know all too well, trying to get him on our podcast, but this was that on acid. It was fucking, basically the story he told was one in which you had around about like 7 staff members, like basically the entire production crew for Stab in the Dark, waiting from 5 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. each day on the hill there at Greenmount for the goat to materialize because he just kind of thrown him curveballs in terms of what time he was going to show up. And so you just had these full pious Stab surf monks in their druid robes holding vigil on the hillside there, waiting for his goatness to rock up and bless them with his presence. And like fully like the Pope, like he'd come in a tinted car and his window would go half down and you just see a hand come out the window and summon Sam Mack across and some whisperings and the offering of sacraments and various other gifts to the goat was made, and then the deal would be sealed each day, and the goat would take to the water and absolutely fillet a few snapper walls. I think it all pretty much went down on the Gold Coast, or from what I understand, from what was told to me, I don't know, like maybe it's just the first few episodes, but all the chat and all the footage was coming out of the Goldie, and it just reminded me of how much the goat loves the Gold Coast. He loves that joint. Yeah. From Snapper to Stratty, that is his home away from home, and I even think he enjoys the crowds and the drama. Like he's a full-blown drama addict. Like that's his happy place is when he's able to cause a bit of commotion and absolutely rip and turn heads and blow minds, and the gasps, the audible gasps from the surfing puntosphere and commentariat as he flies past, ripping off signature turns, is something that he gets off on. I don't think he loves the constant chronic fan adulation, but he definitely lives for a bit of theatre and a bit of shenanigans, and loves seeing people contort themselves to please him. Classic goat.
And then on the flip side of that is once they got him in the water, he wouldn't come in. Like Wheels was saying, he was out there till well after dark. Like they'd have to pack up and just go and not even say goodbye. And he'd just keep surfing in the pitch black darkness. Like there's no one like him. He's absolutely like well worth the wrangle. Put it that way. I think Wheels, I saw him a few times. He looked absolutely shell shocked, drained out of his mind, trying to just get this guy to somehow contribute to this whole thing. But interestingly, man, just getting back to the actual sort of point of the whole caper, you're looking at these boards and the way that these shapers are just relentlessly flexing on each other, just tearing into each other's shapes and stuff. And you're just going, man, who is going to win this thing? Like, it's just going to be such a fascinating ride. I'm frothing to watch it because the minutiae of difference between these boards must be almost impossible to pick to the naked eye. Like, only these guys could really see. I think there's a swallowtail in there that is the only obvious difference, and maybe one of the stringers is a little thinner on one of the boards. But, like, honestly, do you reckon you could pick up those boards and even for 1 second see a scarier difference if you were just a average Joe punter?
Probably not. And I think it is kind of an example of safety in numbers. Stay with the flock. Don't stray. If we're all together, maybe he's not going to absolutely desecrate our life's work because we know how dialed this guy is into his equipment, and we also know how much he enjoys taking shits on people, who are his mates. Like, he's famous for fucking rinsing people with pithy comments and critiques, and he's just going to be absolutely salivating at the prospect to tear shreds off his mates' boards. Like, he's mates of all of these guys. So he's I'd be absolutely shit myself if it was my board under his feet.
Nah, no doubt, man. If there's one thing he loves more than leaving you hanging, it's fucking shredding you when he knows better. Like, he loves having the details and the final say on stuff that go. His Instagram communication is a perfect example of that. He'll chirp all day long if he feels like his point is the right point, which I do feel like he believes a lot.
And I respect that. I think, let the truth win always. And it's always just a battle of truths. And when someone's logic is better than yours, fucking cop it on the chin and, flip your script. And it's actually a good seg, Vaughn, into Goat Watch. Because did you hear Rasta's rant about the Goat harassing him at Kira? In his interview with Sterling Spencer? This is fucking gold. This is one of the great insights into Dark Goat you'll ever get. So this is Rasta's take. So this is like firing Kira on a kind of random E-swell that went a bit under the radar. And so it was uncrowded by Kira standards. And this is what Rasta had to say. I'm like, look at this beautiful day. Isn't it beautiful? Look at the sun. How's this offshore wind? I'm like freaking out. And he's just sort of looked at me and nodded and like, yeah. And then sort of continued paddling and scanning the lineup like RoboCop. And I was just like, whoa, what? This one, I think this is Slater saying this one. I'm like, I know what I'm looking at. It's the second one. He's like, yeah, but look at this first one. He's trying to sell me on this fucking first one. And I'm just like, are you serious right now? And then I paddle over the first one because he knows I know. And it's obvious that's not the one. The second one comes and I'm like, yeah, here we go. This is the one. And I start to turn and he turns and I'm paddling for it and he's paddling for it. And he's like, he's the guy on the shoulder. And I'm looking at him like incredulous. Like, do you not know? Just feel like letting someone have this wave because they were the next in line and it's okay if we both miss it. It's one for the spirits, maybe. Who knows? Whatever. It's just surfing anyway. I catch this wave and he's there with me stroke for stroke to the last second just in case I miss it, which is like, as if that's ever going to happen. I grew up surfing this fucking wave. So anyway, I catch the wave and it's a nice wave and I come back out and I'm like, wow, that guy's just relentless. And another point to this story is that it was pretty much just the two of them out up the top of the point. They found themselves in a big, wide, open patch of ocean. So Slater is just jostling with him right to the death, trying to sell him on a lemon. Classic. Anyway, so that's come out on, what's the Instagram account again? Not Green Room Surf Times, the House of Foam and Froth, I believe. Yeah. Great account. Very funny. And Slater's seen this go up and he chips in on the beneath in the comment thread. This is what Kelly wrote about Rasta. He can't take or spot an obvious joke, wrote Slater. Too easy to claim I'm over competitive. And then he got accused of being humorless himself by some troll. And Slater responded, I said this, but it was in complete humor. It's weird Rasta wouldn't tell it in a lighthearted way is all. So, yeah, a pretty classic back and forth. Good. Sometimes the American and Australian sense of humor doesn't sync up, and we've seen that firsthand at the original Ain't That Swell Live with the Goat Slater at Torquay Bowler, where he didn't take too kindly to Smivy's self-deprecating form of humor. But what did you make of that? Was Slater being a funny guy? Was it just a bit of a mild, lighthearted ribbing when that set approached Akira, or was he really trying to sell Dave Rastovich, Gold Coast royalty, Point Break royalty on a lemon?
Oh, mate, look, I reckon it's a bit of both. I reckon Kelly, like every move he makes is analysed. Like if you're in a lineup with him, he's pretty toey. Like I was just surfing Wilkes Pass with him in Fiji, just during that WSL finals. There's like Hemsworth out there, Goats out there, Richie Lovett, Ronnie, couple of others. And mate, he was everywhere. He was all over it. You couldn't turn around without him sort of being up the point, down the point. And I think it's not necessarily that he's snaking it's just that he's just moving so fast because he sees something where like, oh no, there's going to be a set up there and oh, there's going to be one down there. His brain's just doing all that. And if you're Rasta and you're just letting waves come to you, you're probably looking at that and going, this motherfucker is relentless, like Rasta said. But I think Kelly, I think his sense of humor is awkward at the best of times. So he could have been sort of like, chirping on top of all that movement and Rasta just going, I don't get this because, Rasta's a creature of feelings. And when I say feelings, I mean feeling the feelings. Like he knows the feelings, man. And I think if he's feeling a little bit like I'm getting pressured here, well, then I would back Rasta every day of the week. That's probably the truth of what was going on. So bit of everything all mixed into the boiling pot for this moment between the great free surfing Yeti and the fucking most competitive, ruthless, ocean-going freaking lineup vacuum on Earth.
Yeah, it must be really hard for Slater to rein himself in when he has a read on the ocean that is so far superior to anyone else. Like that's his conditioning. That's since being a child, he's been able to zip around lineups and get the best of every set and every window.
So if he's got a peer, man, it's Rasta.
Well,
like
exactly. Exactly. And he met his match in classical fashion here. Rasta is the yang to Slater's yin, like you said. He's so in sync with the ocean, but in a different, calm, spiritual kind of esoteric way. Whereas Slater is just this ravenous wave locust hopped up on American capitalism and self-assuredness, just ripping around lineups. Take. And like, it reminds me of the classical archetypal story of the sponoed Grom at your local beach. He's 14 years old. He fucking rips. He fucking knows it. And thinks he can get away with anything. And he's paddling rings around you. He's paddling rings around everyone. And eventually, the core lord, the 40-plus-year-old ripper who's just knocked off. He's been slinging mud and laying bricks all day. And he goes, stop, cunt, and grabs that kid and goes, fucking pull up, mate, or I'm going to knock all your teeth out, you little cunt. And maybe he even does punch the kid in the head. And maybe that kid was me one day, Vaughn. And maybe that's what I needed. And maybe that's what Slater never got as a Grom because he was sponsored from the age of 14. And that's the American culture, is to just relentlessly blow smoke up your ass and never pull you up, even when you are exhibiting supremely toxic traits. Because, America worships success and winning more than anything. And he's a very American guy in a lot of ways, Slater. And that American style, it doesn't go over so well down under Rinse Corn as, everyone from Gary Kong Elkerton to John Pilger has shown us over the years.
Yep. And Senior Sergeant Gary Conehead not on the spot to sort this Donnybrook between the great free surfer and the great competitive goat.
What a story!
What a sad side of affair. It's incredible, isn't it?
Oh.
I wonder how that'll affect their next run in, because it's funny how things like this can just be a little seed in the back of your mind. I doubt Rasta will lose sleep over it, but that Kelly conflict is a little life force for him.
Absolutely, yeah. He loves those awkward conflicts. And just a further bit of goat watch, a little reveal about a deep psychedelic experience in a Costa Rican shaman's cave that we've talked about ad nauseum on this program.
Yeah. Shroud of John stuff.
Exactly right. This is what Slater had to say about that experience. The most profound experience of my life. It opened up some sort of doorway in my future. It was otherworldly. Well, that doorway into his future did not include tapering back his wave hunger and capitalist thirst for resources that seems to be insatiable. You'd think a course correction, if it was ever going to happen, would be delivered by a powerful, potent, shamanic brew and the consequential blowing out of the linen pants in the form of John's likeness via the catastrophic diuretic purge.
Yeah.
It always goes down, but whatever course correction the GOAT experienced, he's back to his old ways by the sound of that story with Rasta.
Well, if they happen to meet again, it might just be on the astral realm, Smithy. Slater with a stomach full of ayahuasca dream juice, and Rasta just naturally meditating his way there, out there on the farm, probably naked on a Tuesday, just in the wheat field behind his house. And they'll just meet in that astral realm, and they can sort out their differences there, mate.
Sounds good to me.
Should we meet them there?
Yeah, let's meet them there. How do we do that? You got a contact?
A bunch of those Wardell shrooms out the back of your joint.
Oh, they're popping.
We'll see them there.
See you there, boys.
Report back here for the Swellians.
Just quickly, Vaughan.
That's a big over for me. Was that over? Yeah, we're going there.
Well,
over.
yeah, they're all overs. Yeah, I love it. Well, anything involving the GOAT and whatever tidbits he gives us in this, dare I say it, twilight of his surfing career. I mean, it's not really fucking aging at any rate of
what's
knots.
Your just personally, like you like I find the GOAT the gift that just keeps on giving. Like even with him off tour, I thought we were going to miss him in that space, but he continues to just show up in the oddest places and just froth us out with just surf nerdery on a level that only a handful of us can really tap into, Smithy.
Yeah, his knowledge is so deep. Like, I would love to know his insights into the various waves on Earth. Like, I love hearing just the mechanics, the data, the various things that make certain waves tick. Like, his understanding of, your G-lands, your cloud breaks, your chopes, your pipe, your backflip, like every great wave on Earth, he knows it better than pretty much anyone else on Earth.
Yeah.
And that knowledge is something that's just going to die with him unless we can find a way. I mean, maybe we can go down the MK Ultra route and just fucking spike the bejesus out of him with high potency fungus and just fully juice all that knowledge from him. But geez, that's really like the most untold aspect of GOAT's genius is his wave intel. Fuck, he knows he's got some secrets, that guy, man. His ability to score crazy cons in every corner of the planet. And not to mention all of his minions and his vast network. Like, that guy can just tap into anywhere on Earth at any point and be there within a couple of business class fights.
Totally.
Standing tall in a roper.
Yeah. Well, second to that, and maybe only second to that is knowledge of surfboards, man. So this Stab in the Dark X is going to be a must watch, I think. And I'm so curious to see what sort of intel he provides on the differences between these surfboards and how these just massive egos deal with the feedback in the shaping room, because they're five of the best. I think it's six actually, but the five guys who feature in episode 1 predominantly are the best and most successful shapers on the planet. And
mate.
I like the way that they will accept or disregard the feedback from the GOAT is going to be a joy to watch. Stab Premium, sign up and get onto it if you're a nerd. What is it, a surfboard nerd or a GOAT fiend?
Yeah.
Get on those goat teats and just slurp up that yummy goat yogurt.
Oh, yeah. Nom, 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 nom. And put your mouth guard in, boys, because the GOAT loves punching down.
Doesn't he?
Vaughan, Tulsi watch. Look,
Here we go.
it'd be remiss of us not to touch on the fact that there is a surfer literally one person away from having control of the world's largest nuclear arsenal and, running the basically free world, or if you want to call it that. But people always chirping up, asking for our take on Tulsi Gabbard. We had her on the show famously when she was running for the Democratic Party, 40 minutes of gold. But since then, does appear that she has done a total 180-degree turn on everything that she said she was. And people want us for some reason to disavow her. And I'm like, sure, like I can, whatever. Like, what really, like, what the fuck does it matter what we really think? Like I can tell you what I think, but like, what does it matter? Like, I find it just super weird when people have already made up their minds about her and then ask me what I think. When really it just feels like they just want to see you change your mind. Like no one really fucking knows. That's the truth. Like it's like for sure, yes, she has broken all of her promises that she made on our program and in the lead up to kind of getting so close to power. Like she's now a part of an administration that is engaged in the purest form of regime change war in Venezuela.
Yeah.
That was like one of the things she was biggest on. She's also revealed herself to be happy with Israel's actions in Gaza. And, for those who want us to disavow her or want me to disavow her, all I would say is this. Like, she is literally one person away from being the president of the United States of America and the leader of the free world. So, it could be that she is a total turncoat and, like spineless coward. Or maybe she just thinks it's worth holding her tongue for the moment and playing a bit of politics. There's all these idealists out there who think that you can stick to your guns all the way to becoming the leader of the free world. You can't. You have to compromise. And sometimes you have to keep your true motives and values a total secret. And maybe that's what she's doing. Maybe she's not. Maybe it's all fucking maybes at this point. Politics is a game. It's a ruse. It's a fucking sham run by oligarchs and bankers and the military industrial complex to give us the illusion that we have choice. We don't. It's a big club and we ain't in it, as George Carlin says. If voting changed anything, they'd make it illegal.
Yep.
Also, another George Carlin quote. So, I just kind of look at who she was before politics and put a bit of optimism behind that. She surfs, she's from Hawaii. She grew up around uncles blazing hot ones in the back of rusted out utes. She did 2 tours of the Middle East as a medic. And she sounded like the second coming of JFK at times during her career. She's also next to JFK's nephew, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., as the next in line for president of the USA. So that's just a fucking wild thing to consider. So, and I'm trying to stay optimistic, but truthfully, I have no fucking idea what's really going on. So stop fucking badgering me about her.
Oh, mate. Yeah. I've got nothing to contribute here other than if you look to politicians as, basically people who are going to say something and never, ever steer away from that word, Smithy, you are looking in the wrong place, brother. If you're looking for absolute truth, there's such a small handful of politicians who actually hold on to that dearly. Like, it is a game. You can't, like, if you try, you will get fucking rinsed eventually because they don't like non-team players in these giant political parties. We've seen it happen many, many times. Like, as soon as our boy Pete Garrett got pulled out of like a sort of a more independent party into the Labor caucus, they fucking just dismantled his credibility as quickly as they possibly could. And it just seems like, maybe game playing is just a little bit of, it's a dangerous game though, isn't it? Because, you might be setting yourself up for power, but then they might have you exactly where they want you as well, man.
Whoa. Fully,
Fuck politics.
It's fucking crazy. Fuck politics. It's a
I
fucking
will say this though,
scam and a sham.
I know our boy Pete Wish Wilson is hanging up the boots, and I just want to give him a shout out because fuck, he did some good work.
Yeah. Mate, I don't even know anymore. I just freak. I think like anyone who's sure of themselves at this point is probably the dumbest person in the room. Like, there is some crazy conspiratorial shenanigans going on. That's what we do know.
Yeah.
But what shape those conspiratorial shenanigans are taking is impossible to know. The manipulation is so well thought out and so deep that like it's just I've got total like vertigo where it concerns the big scams that underpin existence. I know that, at its most base level, it's just about theft of time, money, and
Yeah.
resources. Like that's
And just keep spending.
that's
Keep
all
on
it is.
spending.
That's how they control
Consumerism.
you. Is just by
I went to the
taking
tip
your
the
money.
other day after Chrissy. I went to the tip just to drop off a couple of bags of waste, and I was just in there, and I was like, "This is it. This is the end product of our society. Have a fucking look at it." In the middle of this, the tip was in this beautiful piece of like natural fucking national park, kinda. It's surrounded by trees. There's like kookaburras everywhere, and then there's just these rancid bin chooks and these fucking bush turkeys and just waste, endless waste, just constantly heaping up. As fast as they can build it and as fast as we can buy it, people are chucking it onto that pile.
Yeah, yeah.
And fucking that's all I know, mate. That's all I know.
How crazy is it that if you stop spending, your entire economy shits itself? You go into a recession. So, like, you don't try and not spend the money that you're earning. Like, you can't. It all falls apart. Keep spending, cunts. Keep spending. And if you stop spending, we'll give you free money to spend, because the worst thing that could possibly happen is that you stop buying shit you don't need.
Yeah. Under.
Vaughan, finally, Kookpocalypse, the Canary Islands spin-off. This was amazing. I'm sure you saw it. The Canary Islands are the canary, so to speak, in the coal mine of surf capitalism and gentrification. And there was an incident in which a local surfer told someone to go in, send him in, and then on shore there was a follow-up brouhaha in which he threatened to throw a rock at the man and the man's missus, who was filming him on an iPhone. And it went viral, and it's pretty graphic imagery. It's pretty full on.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that footage. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like a long-haired guy in a weddie.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah, your archetypical call lord, really.
It was a throwback, that look.
It was, yeah. Very Point Break inspired, or El Point Breako, as it was known in the Spanish version in the Canary Islands. But a really interesting one. And Stab in their infinite wisdom reached out to a local surfer there, Yale Penner, who had this to say about the incident. Most of the good waves here are already too crowded, so people try to keep some places just for the locals. Like that, you don't have to deal with tourists, people learning, or even worse, people filming and taking photos, which will promote the spot and kill it forever. Hard to argue with any of that. When the first Americans came to surf the Canary Islands, they found some really good waves. They met the locals and showed them how to surf, gave them boards, and also brought weed and reggae music. Well played. In order to keep the waves just for themselves when they come back to visit next time, they told the people here only locals. Whenever they see another tourist, they should take them out of the water. Those words stayed in the soul of most of the first generation here, which has been kept alive in the second, third, etc. The problem is that a lot of people come from places where they don't have a vivid culture or similar respect, and that's where confrontation begins. If you surf any spot for the first time, you always have to respect the people from there. If there are rules for that spot, you have to respect them. So the Canaries is very interesting. For as long as I've known about the joint, it's always had a reputation as being the most localized place on earth, maybe apart from a couple of pockets in Hawaii. And with good reason. Like, it's on the doorstep of Europe. So this boon in like Northern European surfers coming out of places where there is no surf culture, there aren't even waves, has hit Tenerife and the Canary Islands probably harder than anywhere. It's basically the Bali of Europe, and the stats are pretty sobering. So 18 million tourists visited the Canaries in 2025, with 7 million hitting Tenerife. That's roughly 7 times the population. And at the same time, tourism makes up roughly 35% of the Canary Islands GDP and supports around 40% of employment. So there's like, it's basically the exact same situation as Bali. What's your take on it all?
I've been there. I've surfed a couple of waves over there that are heavily localized. El Gamao, the Spanish pipeline, and there's a pretty famous left that you might remember. Some pretty sick waves of Gav Beshan at. Big slab over there, and then there's a couple of nice little right hand points. This is all in just sort of like the Canary Islands version of the North Shore. Like they're all like visible from each other. But also right on the end of the point in front of the stab, literally the wave in between the Spanish pipeline and this right point, is a fucking karate dojo, and the fucking guys in there. It has no windows, or it didn't when I was there. And you just saw the local lids in there, Smithy, just hitting the heavy bag in full view of the fucking entire village. And it was not to be trifled with, man. And yeah, you did not paddle out there thinking, oh, sweet, yeah, I'll just paddle out and get whatever wave I want. I mean, you were paddling out dead set going, fuck, I hope none of these guys want to bash some gringo because I'm fucking first in line. And even while we were there, there was a burnout van on the right point. Like that someone had just paddled out, burnt one of the locals, and they just went in, just torched his car instantly. So, yeah, it is localized. And it's been a long, long time since I've been there. But like with all these spots, man, like, population increases, the popularity of the tourism trade, and then just the typical sort of story of like not being able to just dish out that tribal comeuppance anymore without having to cop police and courts and even just a social media rinsing has all probably led to a feeling of increased frustration, man. So I think maybe what happens is like something like this goes down where something goes viral and you kind of just know that the culture's changing. Like the violence can't persist when there's cameras everywhere and you're probably going to have to pay real world consequences for picking up a rock and chucking it at some dude or some chick. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like the old Wild West days of that sort of localism are just starting to peter out, even in these strongholds of tribal localism and protection. Pretty wild.
Pretty wild. My favorite canary story is of a traveling surfer looking out the window of his plane only to see those same karate experts from the dojo now in baggage handling uniform just dropping corporate elbows on surfboards and fins.
That's so good. As they're getting off the plane, they're just like, oh, another rack of boards. Let's run this run the what is it? The little bobcat over him as we're moving him over into
whoopsie daisy. Yeah, exactly. Classic. They're like the Italian mafia. They've infiltrated every level of society there on the Canaries. There's a really interesting comment here on that social media post from, I think it was another local, but it was just a good take or an interesting take. He wrote, perhaps the problem lies in the fact that the economy has been made to be dependent on the influx of masses of tourists, snowbirds, and digital nomads. The hotel chain and Airbnb owners, as well as developers, are clapping with their ears, while everyday Canarians are left with scraps and no bright future in the islands if they aspire to do more than clean British toilets or wait German tables. All the Fuerteventura, Italian, Guri, Camp Invasion, Gran Canaria, and Tenerife vacationer overcrowding or Lanzarote shit show is something locals can only put up with for so long. Having 7 million people drain your resources while you, a peasant, are only left with consequences is not progress. Having to leave your land because you can no longer afford to live or make a living on it is not progress. Should native Hawaiians be thankful to the air quotes progress they are experiencing? Perhaps Tahui should start teaching lessons to tourists at Pipeline and sharing their waves. Actually, they did in Waikiki, and look how it has turned out. I don't support violence, and I don't know the whole story here, but it doesn't justify the rock throwing, maybe just the punch. Nevertheless, this has previously happened in Hawaii, and we only get podcasts praising enforcer uncles as if they were guardian angels. Having your culture erased for a quick buck is not positive. Having vultures amass land and wealth is not positive. Acting entitled because your island depends on my tourist money is not positive. Interesting.
God, There's a story we've heard before, Smithy.
Oh yeah, it's literally
And,
the story of every fucking surf spot on earth.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Bali and Hawaii are probably the biggest examples of that
Yeah,
playing out.
Byron, J-Bay, fucking
Yeah.
Bondi was the original. Like, Maruba's going through it now. Like, yeah, mate. Anywhere there's like waves and a surf culture, somehow the capitalists have realized that, there's just there's money in it, and
Yeah.
I think like frick, the only way that you can stop that is by making surfing much less of an inclusive and friendly place. Like that's all I can think of anyway, because really, like it's the inclusivity and this idea that anyone can do it, and that's driving those prices up. It's creating the allure of big property developers who think they can make money off it, but that's because they think that you can just start surfing at any age, and it's open for everyone. It never was that growing up.
It's not progress, as that bloke says.
That's Manda.
Hey, Smithy, before we go, mate, because I didn't put the questions out, so we'll come back to the Swellians and welcome them into the new year next year. But, bro, we got some good shows coming up this year. And one of the ones I'm the most looking forward to is we're bringing back Up Late, the Culture Hour, in a big way. Like, we're going to get stuck into sort of like our favourite surf biographies and books, our favourite surf films. We're going to deep dive them like one topic per ep. So that's going to be sick fun, man. I'll tell you, I've been reading Darren Longbottom's book, Beyond the Break. I think that's what it's called. We've got to talk about that book, mate. It is fucking unbelievable.
He's the guy. Yeah, I'm so off myself for not having had him on the pod. Mate, there's just so a fucking endless scroll of guests I want to get on here, and he's top of that list. But
well,
mate,
I reckon we talk about
icon.
his book and then we get him on, and that's going to be epic, bro. But big year of shows coming up, mate. Can't wait to chew the fat surfing with you. Blitzed will be back, of course. Some big developments there. Steam and Heats, Core Lords, and many, many more, mate. So a big year for the Swellians coming up. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Let's
Speak
rip in,
soon.
bro. You.